would put in like something like 3.5 grams, I mean, which is nearly nothing, into this huge batch. Anything more, it could become poisonous. Anything less, it didn't work. So scary times. Nowadays, with the way science has progressed and everything else, we don't need, now I won't say that everyone does it because they don't. They still use those chemical preservatives. But my end of things, because I'm more of the boutique product lines, we steer away from that. I'm not looking for a shelf life of, a year or 2 years on the shelf. And, a lot of people out there, when you're buying, your spaghetti sauce or your canned goods, whether they're soups or even vegetables, cereals, those products, they're far from fresh.
Cereals especially.
They've got the supply line that you just can't, especially because American wants their food, for very cheap. So in order to do that, the supply line has to be massive, which is a very slow snail trail to get to the shelves of the market.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by a massive supply line as far as cheap food goes? What's the relationship between, first of all, what is a massive supply line? And second of all, how does that relate to cheap food?
Give you an idea. When we started with our product line, we were buying bags of flour in the 50-pound sacks. And then we went to 100-pound sacks. By the time I was done, I had silos where they were blowing the flour into the silos on an every other day basis. You're buying your product at the very beginning. You're buying your product by the unit, and then you start buying it by the ton, and then eventually you bought it on contract, which meant, like, I was the largest end user of cream cheese west of the Mississippi when I was doing my product lines. And I would buy cream cheese 6 to 8 months early, or, before that actual shipment came in. Sort of like the commodity market where you're buying gold futures and pork bellies and all that, where you never take delivery. Well, I actually took delivery.
So you had an agreement with dairy farmers, and then they would produce cream cheese for you based on an agreement that you made with them to buy so many tons of the stuff?
Kraft Foods. They were the only ones that could actually supply me the volumes that I needed. I was going through anywhere from 1.5 to 2 tractor trailer loads, which are 40-foot containers, a week of just cream cheese, 30-pound blocks. They weren't set up to make. I wanted the blocks in 50-pound blocks because it would save me on labor, but they couldn't do it. So even that, and then there were 2 brothers that started the Tofuti company, and we worked long and hard to try to figure out how to replace the cream cheese with tofu, and then their product was called Tofuti.
Tofuti Cutie? Is that the Tofuti Cutie, that ice cream thing? The tofu ice cream?
Yep.
That's the one. I think I've had some of that stuff.
And they were trying to manufacture a cream cheese / tofu type of product for me, but we could never get the consistency down. But these are the kind of things that, we don't. You're going to manufacturers and you're talking to them about your needs, and you're more or less usually, well, I won't say usually, but in some instances, you were on virgin ground. You weren't going through their catalog and going, I'll take some of this. A lot of times you're going to them and saying, I know what your manufacturing is like. I know what your capabilities are like. You're not doing this. Can you do this for me? And what's it going to cost at the volume I'm going to give you? And the higher the volume, which is kind of unfair, but this is the way it works in real life, the more volume you do, which the better your business is, the lower your costs become because your raw materials become less and less and less as you're buying more in volume. So the small guy, unless they really know what the heck they're doing, doesn't really stand a chance out there as far as going national.
That's not necessarily. That's not necessarily in the consumer's interest, though, is it?
No. Well, it depends on what the product line is. If the product line for the majority of people out there, I think the majority of people really want to be healthy. obviously. They don't want to take bad things in there. But then they flip it around as far as what their budget could do for them. And sometimes their budget doesn't allow them to go crazy. Now, on our show, we push CSAs nationwide. We push farmers markets. We say, listen, gang, you can buy these things. You're going to get a lot better products. And CSAs go all the way from, from vegetables to fruits to meats to fish. You're going to get it for about the same price as you would going into the market, and the quality, the freshness, the quality. You get for anybody out there that's either had a store-bought egg versus a ranch egg, where you're getting it right out of the ranch. It's like, wow, this isn't even the same thing, and because the ranch egg, the yolk is just as dark orange. It's just, and the taste is just gorgeous, like vine ripened tomatoes. That's a toughie. There's no difference in taste. You can't beat it. But in stores, because of their supply line, they can't turn that around. In the majority of the cases, they can't turn that vine ripened tomato around and put it on their shelves and sell it before it goes bad. So there's the yin and the yang. They've got to have it to where they've got to have so much time and to sell the product and get it through their supply line that sometimes people are they're taking the manufacturing, what they've done over time as far as figuring out how to extend their shelf life. Bananas that come from Central America or South America, they're green when they pick them, and they ripen as they go along. Now, you find yourself a nice banana or even coconut that's been ripened right on the vine, and you'll just die with the difference.
Big difference.
So a lot of things like that. When I'm doing the food manufacturing and I've got a new project going on, like right now, I'm going to be working on an energy bar.
Oh, great. We're out of time. I wanted to talk about the energy bar, too, and we're just out of time. Maybe we'll get you back on here. Give me, what's your favorite processed product out there, like that comes in a box or a wrapper? Just one, Greg.
Well, it would probably be our salad dressing, which is a blend of blood orange, olive oil, and raspberry vinaigrette, and that is delish.
And what's your website, real quick? We've got about 10 seconds, Greg.
Website is flavorsiseverything.com.
Flavorsiseverything.com. Thanks a lot, Greg. Have an awesome day on the farm. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You've been listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back at you tomorrow with more awesome health information. Thanks for listening, friends. Have a wonderful, awesome, beautiful day. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.